Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2025 BMW X6M Competition. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. So this M Comp is finished off in Dravit Grey Metallic. MSRP is $144,000. Now this is powered by the 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 that's paired to both the 48 volt hybrid electric system along with the 8-speed automatic. It pumps out 617 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque sent through that xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 5,400 pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. It has a top speed of 177 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 21.9 gallons. You'll expect to see around 13 miles per gallon in the city, 18 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 117 inches. Its overall length is 195. It has a width of 78.9 and a height of 66.9 inches. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, this model also has about $8,000 or $9,000 worth of options. So up front, one of those options is all of the gloss black that you will notice. Take a look at how sinister this front end design is, with the kidney grille, the X6M logo, as well as all of the horizontal slats to provide a lot of cooling to the components up front. Now there's a forward camera, there's also all the sensors, the sensor for adaptive cruise, and then as you can tell, everything is exposed. Very large inlets in the entire lower section, and a really nice set of LED headlights with the dark housings and the turn signals and DRLs, which are also LED, and then some lines that come down the hood just to finish it off. I really like how the bodywork works its way around the gloss black trim accents, gives it a really good front end design. Now for this X6M, this also has a set of 21-inch wheels up front. They're 10.5 inches wide and then 22 by 11.5 in the rear. Definitely a very large tires for this SUV, M Sport brakes, and a nice multi-spoke design for those wheels. There's a gloss black trim accent just behind that. Power folding side mirrors with the turn signal and a camera. There's also a moonroof up top. All of the window trim is blacked out as well. And with the X6, you get more of that coupe-like design. So we have that steeply raked rear glass to give it both that look and the functions of being an SUV. And then the fender arches stick out just a little bit, giving it a great look along with the lower side skirt there. And then in back, there's a small gloss black spoiler. This has a really nice set of dark LED taillights there. There's the X6M Comp badge, backup camera with all the sensors, and then the quad tip dual exhaust. Now this also has remote start, so you can use the key fob for that. You can also use the key fob or the button up underneath to open up the power liftgate. Now, being the X6 versus the X5, which has more of the traditional SUV design, you do lose a little bit of height, but for your overall cargo space, it is still just as plentiful. Now, underneath the floor, you have the spare tire. You could maybe put some other items down there if you needed to, but it's mainly for that spare. You have some battery access on one side. There's also this cover that you can remove. There's a 12 volt and some tie down hooks so you can secure any items. And the back seats do fold down as well. So it's still an SUV, it's still practical for those larger items when you need them. And then up top, you can close the liftgate or lock the vehicle as well. Now if the vehicle does lock, you do have some settings that you can use in order to unlock the back door handles, as there's no proximity sensor on the door handle itself. But with this open, take a look at this interior. So we have the manual adjusting sunshades, the Bowers & Wilkins audio, which is about a $3,000 option. Really cool pattern with that tan leather. There's carbon fiber, brushed aluminum, leather, more of that stitching. Leather is even in the entire lower section there. The M logo is also an illuminating badge, and then we have the same design for these back seats. Really nice contrast with this Dravit Gray. Now at 5'10", I have a good bit of space. We have a storage pocket. There's also an area where you can attach tablets and charge them as well. You get climate vents in the middle along with heated seats, all of those adjustments, storage space, and then an auxiliary in the lower section. And even at 5'10", I have about an inch or so above my head, so the roofline doesn't really dip down until past the headrest. So you could be a little bit taller than me, but it's still functional for adults in the back. And then right in the middle, we have the armrest, which also has a little bit of storage, as well as 2 cup holders on the front side. And then you can also fold down this middle seat individually. So if you need some access for whatever reason, you can do that. Now with the rake of that rear glass, you have a little bit of a pillar there, but you have a window on both sides, which is helpful. And this model even has the full Alcantara headliner, which is a great touch. So it's still functional for storage and for people if you want that design. The front door panel has a lot of these same materials, of course. However, we get the massaging seats. You have a control to adjust the front passenger seat, liftgate and memory seating adjustments, lock and unlock, and then all of your window and side mirror adjustments, and everything else is identical. You get X6M Comp up front, and then a beautiful set of seats with the extra support up front. They are automatic seats. You even have the adjustable leg support as well. And it's a low SUV, so it's really easy to hop into, where we're greeted with the solid leather steering wheel with the M badge down below. You get carbon fiber paddle shifters, M1 and M2, all of your cruise and adaptive cruise control settings, and then you have some other controls for the gauge cluster. So let's fire this up, take a listen to how this sounds. And coming back to the gauge cluster, on the left side, there's miles per hour and fuel. Right side, there's the tach and engine temperature. And then you can use some controls on the right side of the steering wheel to go through all of these vitals and information. So you can pull all of this up as needed, just depending on what you would like to see. And then you can also go to the head-up display. So there's a few different settings here with that information, depending on how you would like to view it. Now over on that side as well, you have volume tuning and then Bluetooth and voice commands. Now you can also change the gauge cluster by going into M mode. So you can go into sport or track. Sport and track are pretty much the same, where you have this layout now with basically your RPM and your miles per hour, how the vehicle is set up, and then you have a very large tach on the head-up display. Track mode is just going to shut off the infotainment system so you are not as distracted. Now on this left side, there's headlight adjustments. You get a little bit of storage. There's also one air vent with the new control there. Carbon fiber, leather covers the entire dash. And then for the infotainment system, we have the climate menu in the lower section, so you can always get to that. And then on this left side, you can quickly get into all of these apps, like your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have your interior, exterior lighting, doors and windows. And then you can also go back into your music. You have a shortcut to your phone, and then you can even pull up the navigation in full screen. Now also on the home screen, you can scroll through all of these widgets, and you can add some as needed depending on what you would like to get through. Now if you saw, if we go all the way to the back, you can push here for setup. This is how you can go into M1 and M2. So you can have them configured with your Sport Plus, or you can have your efficiency mode. So those are shortcuts to have the vehicle set up and ready to go. More carbon fiber underneath that, along with the illuminating badge on that passenger side. There's a volume as well as tuning, defrosters, wireless charging in the lower section. You get an auxiliary cup holders, and they're even heated and cooled. So just depending on the drink that you have with you for the day. Now you do have shortcuts for that screen up top, so you don't have to use it as a touchscreen system. And then with the shifter, that is for reverse. You have the backup camera with that 360 view. There's also shortcuts over on that right side, and you have an array of views depending on what you need to see. Now to put it into drive, we'll just go over to the right. If you do that one more time, you can actually shift using the shifter or the paddle shifters. Park is on the back side, along with being able to adjust the transmission so you can control how slow or quickly that will react. There's traction control, parking sensors, engine start stop, and then there's also the setup button, shortcut to M1 and M2. There's the exhaust note, auto hold, e-brake, and even a downhill assist. You get a little bit of storage with some auxiliaries in the middle, along with plenty in the glove box. There's also garage door buttons underneath the rear view mirror, and then you have controls for the sunroof and being able to tilt that. Sunshade is also automatic as well. But a look from the driver's side, it's actually pretty easy to see. That pillar's a little bit bulkier from the back seats, but you can clearly see over both shoulders. As we set up now behind the wheel for the X6M Competition, I've been in the X6 before. I've been in more of the X5s with the M Competition package, so I have a lot of experience with these vehicles. I gotta say, this is a very fun SUV. This is highly performance oriented, so if you are looking for a powerhouse and you want the practicality of an SUV, this is a great option to go with. It gives you more of that sports car vibe with its exterior design. And I love the fact that this car has multiple personalities. So depending on how you want the car to drive or how you want to drive the car, you can adjust the transmission, which is going to give you so many different ways to further drive this. So in a sense, you can set it up multiple ways where you won't ever get bored driving this car. Whether you want the car to do the shifting or you want to do the shifting, I think it's really neat to see that level of performance in a luxury SUV like this. Now, I do own an X5 myself, so as far as driving this vehicle, it's not too different from mine. All the BMWs really have the same feel to them. With that stiffer suspension, it's going to give you better handling characteristics. So you don't have that more floaty style suspension, but you still get a really good driving vehicle, and one that is going to be able to corner well, not quite like a sports car, but you'll still be able to have some fun and take this around some twisties. But this would make for a great daily driver with how comfortable it is, how quiet it is, well refined. We have a lot of premium feeling materials on this interior as well. So it's going to just give you that vibe if that's what you were going for. And it's nice to drive. You can hear a little bit of that exhaust as well, which just adds to that fun factor. We have the exhaust on at the moment. So if you do want it to quiet it down, you can certainly do that. But if you're buying this car, I hope you want to listen to that exhaust. And from second gear, here we go. Nice mild acceleration. This has plenty of power with the potential that it even has further than what I'm doing. It's a powerhouse. It's a luxury focused, performance oriented SUV. So if you are the buyer and those are going to check your boxes, this is a great option to go with. Paddles are also very responsive. And again, just depending on how you want to shift is how that feedback is going to feel. So all the way in the lowest setting, it's going to have a slight delay versus the quicker delay or the quicker shifts once you adjust that. So again, it just gives you all those personalities to have fun behind the wheel. And with this 2025, we have this newer screen here that's slowly circulating into more of the BMWs. Pretty easy to use and just a great feel. I like the steering wheel. Seats are super comfortable. So this is absolutely a vehicle to daily drive. And let's do another acceleration because it just sounds so good. So aside from the engine note, it's definitely a great place to be. That is going to wrap it up for the 2025 BMW X6M Competition. Once again, a huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake. Check out their website, give this video a huge thumbs up, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.